For the 53rd fucking time, I'm CreamCrazy, people. And welcome to a rant, which, to be perfectly honest, you've never seen me do on a Thursday night before. Well, let me get in and explain how that's done. I've got a busy weekend ahead of me, revision, going to see Mum again up in Norfolk, watching the football, got my friend over, me and my brother, a friend over tomorrow. So therefore, I haven't got much time in this weekend to do my rant and do it well. So therefore, I'm doing it now, when I'm supposed to wake up in, say, 10 hours for college. Yeah, I just think I better do it now while I'm literally high on the fact that I'm going to watch the Jezebels in London next month. So, while I'm high on that, let's get to my 53rd rant, which explains for the 53rd fucking timeline that opened this video. Nonetheless, everybody, we've probably played WWE 12 God knows how many times, and we now have to focus on to WWE 13. Even THQ realise they have to just start doing that. So therefore, for this little video, I've decided to do a 10 reasons, which isn't really called 10 reasons, but it's 10 things that WWE 13 needs, in my humble opinion. Now, if you guys want to put anything, if you comment on anything, you know what to do. Comment section down there. Remember also to subscribe up there, and also click on my Facebook page down there as well in the description box, as well as ask me Q&A questions and find my Skype name as well. All's well and good. Now, WWE 13, I hope it can at least build on what WWE 12 had, because, okay, the game at the time when I first had it was fucking awesome. It still is, but I've noticed a lot of issues with it, and I want those to hopefully be rectified. And these 10 reasons are something that I think WWE 13 would need to become one of the best wrestling games ever released. Now, the opinion on WWE 12 I've had is that it's still one of the best wrestling games, but I do have issues with it that could literally, I could write a whole list about it, but I'm not going to do it here. These 10 things for WWE 13, I hope, happen, and it's only a wish list, people, but it's 10 things I think it needs. Okay? Let's get going. First off, number 10. Better in-ring physics. Now, I have no idea what I've just said, but let me just explain that in a more simple way. When WWE 12 came out, everybody, we were, I would say, enthralled by the fact that the game went at a much more faster pace. That you knock someone down, they usually get back up, and you basically wear them down until there is no tomorrow. The only thing I find as an issue with this is that when you hit a finisher on somebody, quite early on in a match, it's supposed to be a big impact move that can literally harm and or end a match at any point. Say, for example, in a 2 or 3 minute match, if the Big Show hit his WMD, you'd expect a 1, 2, 3 off the bat, because it is the WMD, isn't it? It is the big punch from hell. But the problem is, with some wrestlers, they pull off their finisher in WWE 12, and it basically sucks ass. The guy just gets up, isn't even holding the body part that's hurt, and basically could beat someone. Now, to me, that just doesn't work. And it's annoying because every time I'm doing a computer simulated match, I can actually find matches that last 3 minutes long, 5 minutes long, after one finisher move is hit. And it's annoying how a big impact move doesn't keep them down long, and I want to see realism in this. That these guys are getting hit by other people, they are being put down on a ring canvas, which in real life would hurt. So why would I find this an issue? Well, in a game that's supposed to be quoting realism, I think it's perfect to say that the in-ring work, okay, it was too fast here. But at least in the SmackDown vs. Raw games, which had the movement and the gameplay was quite quick, when you got hit down by a move, you stayed down for as long as the move's injury and pain rating factored in. And to me, that made it more realistic and much better in terms of pacing. WWE 12 lacked that. So therefore, I think if they change that, get rid of the stupid targeting system for body parts, it should turn out a lot better. And it's taken me 5 minutes to cough, so this could be a long vid. Number 9. Updated entrances for the Steel Cage and Hell in a Cell matches. Quite simple, really, because this is something that has irked me for quite a long time about WWE games, is that the Steel Cage and Hell in a Cell entrances have not changed a single bit. Okay, the cage is hanging above the ceiling, above the ring, and you basically do your normal entrance. La-dee-da, you go through. Done. You think, that's reasonable, I could deal with that. I can't. Because nowadays we know that the guys go in through the cage or cell door every single time. The realism factor comes back in again. It's where I know it's a bit longer for the mocap guys, having to think up new entrances. But wouldn't you love it if you've set a guy to a heel entrance or a guy to a face entrance and they immediately, up to the cell, just show fear in their eyes? Think about it. Just think about how epic that would be. Just to make that a reality. I mean, that would be something fun. Then if you're making a WWE universe where you can literally think, okay, this guy's a cocky heel. He's obviously throwing his stuff around. He thinks he's the best in the world. And then when he gets to that cell, he's going, fuck, I don't know what I'm getting myself in for here. It might kill me. That kind of thing, it demands realism. Steel Cage is never hanging above the ring before the guys go in. You go in through the door locks, and the match continues and starts right there. And I feel that should be a priority. Because if you want to replicate the real product, you put this kind of shit in. It may be just me complaining here, but I bet there's some people out there who will agree with me. Hopefully there are some people out there who do. Number 8. Make the commentary better and more exciting, or do what you did on Here Comes the Pain and just remove it entirely. Because the commentary on the WWE games recently has been shit. Now, WWE 12 made it better. The only issue I had was it was extremely repetitive, and you couldn't turn the fucker off without turning off the referee's count, the audience, the announcer, pivotal parts to the experience. Now, the best thing you can do is go Here Comes the Pain and have none at all, so it allows people like me to mimic Michael Cole and Taz and literally make a fantastic product out of it. You could. Or you could do what they've done in UFC and FIFA and actually make it replicate the arena. And you know what? I'll just say off the bat. Listening to Michael Cole and Jerry the King Lawler in WWE 12 sounded like they were reading off a script. There were very little times where I literally felt they were excited like they would be in real life. And to be honest, they put more excitement into real life than they do with this. Then again, Michael Cole sounds like he's reading off a script every single time he speaks, especially in the last 3 or 4 years. You can sense it. Just listen to Raw next week, and I bet I fucking ruined it for you, but it definitely seems like he is reading off the script pound for pound. The return of Brock Lesnar is a prime example of it, because I would be freaking out thinking, what the fuck? Holy shit, what is this guy doing here? I wouldn't just go, my God, Brock Lesnar. I wouldn't do something like that. I would... Thing is, that's the kind of commentary we got on WWE 12. It was basically like, you know what, I want this to happen. You know, King, you're just rubbish. And I just think it's basically so simple done that you don't get the enthusiasm that you'd get from a commentator. Then again, they aren't that enthusiastic, I should say, anymore anyways. So therefore, just get rid of it entirely, in my opinion. I would just spew it. I mean, sure, they could make it more exciting, but if they don't, then it serves no legitimate purpose. And you all know, if something doesn't serve a purpose, get it out of there. Cool. Number 7. And this one is another pacing issue, but it's nothing to do with the matches. There should be no break between a pinfall or submission or whatever, the victory celebration and the music playing. Do you understand what I'm talking about? Go look at WWE 12 right now. Find a match on the internet. Play a match on your Xbox or PS3, why don't you? Or if you know exactly what I'm talking about, let me just explain it again for those who don't. When you win, it'll say, this guy wins by knockout. And you hear the crowd cheering for about 2 or 3 to 4, 5 seconds. 5 seconds-ish, roughly. And then it cuts the entrance music and the celebration. I thought, people will think, what is a problem with that? What could be the issue with that? Seriously, you're all telling me this is part of how it goes. They say, okay, this guy wins. Simple. I tell you what's the problem with it. When I'm commentating and a guy has just won, in the heat of the moment, I will scream out what's happened, much like Cole or Taz would do. And I actually have to wait for a while before the music begins to continue that celebration, that reaction. And it annoys me, because I do not want to see basically a cut between, with silence in the between the match ending and the match celebration happening. It's annoying for me, but I bet it's more annoying for other people, because you have to wait for the celebration to happen, and then you go to press B or A to do stuff on universe mode. Well, this is just my opinion here. You should have, and immediately when that 3 count happens, or when the guy taps, you hear the music straight off the bat, the victory celebration happens. I mean, sure, the Xbox or PS3 has to process the fucker, but this is what you have a faster console for. This is what you got loads of memory on the fucking thing for. You make this happen, and the game is a lot smoother. It is not jarring with loads of loading time and screens. And plus, and actually, this would be made a whole lot easier if you remove the replays entirely and just keep them in the highlight reel section after the match is over. I'm just giving you another tip there, THQ. Give me a fucking medal. But honestly, that break just disrupts the entire commentary. Sorry. Disrupts the entire commentary feeling I'm trying to get in the game. And it really bugs me. So this is just a personal opinion that this should not be there. Just to make it a lot easier and make it flow quicker so you can get on to the next one. Fit as many matches as you can in a night. You good? Sweet. Cool. Number 6. And this one is one that people are literally biting at the heels for. Speaking of heels, heel and face entrances for the wrestlers. Because people often said, when you turn someone heel on WWE Universe mode, say John Cena, he still runs out there, does his salute thing, and just basically acts like a complete face, even though he has actually turned heel. And we don't want to go through the creative entrance process and change their entrance to reflect their mood change. No. You see, if a guy or girl has turned heel, you want their new heel persona to be embraced in the entrance. Because, come on. You do not. For example, in WWE 12, Mark Henry's old entrance is there where he's dancing around and making a complete tit of himself. Just imagine the fact that you've turned him heel to fit the normal storyline and he's still doing that. It does not work. And for example, if you turn Alberto Del Rio face, you want him to have a different entrance to match up with the cheers. Because he's doing what he does, his cocky thing, because he's a heel, and a cocky guy obviously is so vain, you want him to basically prance around and make himself look like a complete tool. That's part of the fucking thing. That's part of storytelling in an entrance, for God's sake. It makes a difference, and to be honest, that's why some of my creative guys at least have entrances which you can do for both heel and face, so it doesn't matter if they turn or not. So, people want it, GHQ. They've been complaining on the SmackDown Hotel for it. They've been basically going on saying, you give this to us because it's vital for our experience. If you don't give it to them, it's a bit sad. Really is sad. Because that's a fantastic thing, and I believe it would add so much creativity to this. Because imagine trying to build a heel persona. Actually, the one thing though for some of these guys is that they haven't turned heel in ages. Imagine what Cena's heel persona would be like in an entrance. Imagine what they'd have to make it look like. on a game. It would be weird because we wouldn't have seen it in real life. It's up to you guys. If you want to see it, you can comment in that comment section if you do or not. But it's something that just boggled across my mind. It would be a bit strange. Oh, my throat's going again. Shit. Sorry about that. Number 5. Sandbox-style arenas. This means that the arenas should be like a sandbox game, like Saints Row, like GTA, where you can effectively go anywhere. The crowd, backstage areas, outside the arena. Because, ladies and gentlemen, we have not seen this kind of fluid gameplay since 2003, since Here Comes the Pain, where we were allowed to literally go basically behind the gorilla position and go into the parking lot, the fitness room, outside the arena, hell, even Times Square, for God's sake. We were able to basically do anything in that hardcore environment, and we fucking loved it. Sure, it was trimmed back, and then we of course got the little section of the crowd where you could go on top of a scaffolding and jump off it, and then that got completely removed entirely to the point where it's just confined to the ring, and that is so annoying. In an Extreme Rules match, Falls Count Anywhere, I want the guys to go all over the place and beat the shit out of each other. The only time you can do this is in a bloody backroom brawl, or free brawl as it's called, where the gameplay moves so slowly that you can't even beat someone up quickly in there. Basically, another gameplay issue here. If the arenas are open, God, all hell can ensue. You can even have the fans as full 3D figures who could fight back if they're attacked by a heel. It'll be ridiculous and go against the grain, but it would still be something. Plus, if WWE 13 is going to have an Attitude Era feel to it, because apparently the Road Dogs are in there. Maybe we're seeing X-Pac, Diamond Dallas Page maybe. We're seeing guys from the late 90s come into this game. If you're going to make it like that, make sure the hardcore environment is similar. Because that means if you can go around, beat someone up in the back, in the interview area, the fitness room, and basically you can go without having to basically make it a different match. How awesome would that be? Would it be awesome? Yeah, I'd pay money to have that in my game. Because I'm the one who wants to play it. I want to make my stories make sense on the games. I don't want to have someone just randomly picking up a flaming table and not sticking it anywhere where they wouldn't be willing to use it. Because if you only keep a hardcore match in the ring, it doesn't really do anything for its own good. Number 4. A more in-depth create an arena mode. Now this is only really the stage I would really put in. Just give us a stage that we can create ourselves. Because I created my British Uprising arena on WWE 12. I was fine with it. But then I knew it wouldn't change colour. Because with British Uprising, it's a British flag. I can have red and blue on the big giant swirly things on the sides. That's perfectly fine for that. But trying to recreate Armageddon, Unforgiven, Backlash, and even I would say I've tried Canadian Stampede, you can't change the colour of the stage, and it becomes annoying when you try and regionalise it. Because you are restricted. Not to mention, there's a lot of the issues I've had with the images, trying to get them in the right place on the apron and the announce table. I would basically say if you could transform the arena, actually fuck it, even change the size of the arena itself, make the roof big, you fit more audience in, basically change everything you can in that arena. Hell, you could even if you add the sandbox style arenas, you could make your own backstage area. Just throwing it out there. If it was more open, if you were able to even create the little bar thingy that goes across that displays the wrestler's name, if you could edit that yourself, put your logo on it, put your logo on the stage, do anything to make this more your own. I know WWE 13 will have a better create an arena mode, because it was a prototype in WWE 12. It was the first time it had ever been done. If they do it well in WWE 13, we will have something great on our hands. But the problem is, without a malleable stage, basically everything must be customizable. Otherwise, what is the point even having it? What is the point? It's something that I loved for the first time of using, but I could not do it anymore because I was lacking any form of creative decision to do it if it wasn't on a different stage. Okay? Good. Number 3. This was a personal favourite of mine. The return of the Buried Alive match as a playable match type. Now, one of the great things about SmackDown vs. Raw 2006 was they introduced the Buried Alive match. Basically, you all know it's one of my favourite gimmick matches, and I love it. The fact is, it was annoying in that game because you had a coffin, you had to shut it, and then had basically a dirt poured on top of it. It wasn't very good. The fact is, if they can have the Inferno match in here, then why not have the Buried Alive match in there? I don't understand how the logic of that happens. That a match where you can set someone on fire is in there. A match where you can bury someone alive, which has actually been used in the last 2 years. While the Inferno match doesn't seem to take place in the game. Sheer insanity? I would agree with you. You're probably saying this right now to the video, which is probably freezing up on you as we speak. It's unbelievable. And the Buried Alive match would... Basically, in my creative fantasy WWE thing, I have a lot of Buried Alive matches in it. Because it is a very good... Okay, I don't have them all the time. But it is, for me, a feud ender that I use a lot. Because it's not in the game, I have to do something stupid, visualize the match in my head, and play it out with my own commentary. Which is stupid. I look like a complete pillock. Because I'd rather play it out on my TV while... Basically, I don't have to do it in my head. I'd love to do it on the TV screen. Just watch a Buried Alive match, comment on it, and get a shock ending without me having to predict the ending and just basically do it myself from scratch. I mean, sure, my mind can make it a lot more violent than it ever could be in real life, but I would love to see it back. Come on, remove the coffin aspect. At least incapacitate them in there enough. You then get a choice of doing it the old-fashioned way with the shovel, or you get to do it with the digger. Or wheelbarrows, even. Do what you did with Austin in 1998. Get one of those smaller payloaders to just scoop up dirt and drop it in. And basically, it's a game mode that will be fun because you would not know who would win. That's the great thing about an Inferno match. You can see actually, the Inferno match, the one thing about it is you can tell who's going to win it because if you're bigger, you will squish them and throw them in the fire quicker. Buried Alive match, you have no idea who could win it because anyone could. And plus, try factoring in interference like you would in real life. How fun would that match type be? Huh? How fun would that be? Because to me, I'd find it fun as hell. And if that's not in there, I would be disappointed. Because every year I wait to see if it's back. And it's not, and it pisses me off. It really would do. It would piss me off if it's not included this time. It's the one thing I want to return, apart from something else I'm going to say later. And it's just disappointing it's not there, you know. You agree with me? Comment section, people. Number 2. A Here Comes the Pain style career mode. Now, we know the Road to WrestleMania mode next year is being scrapped. Hooray! The only thing is, we have no idea what the hell it's being replaced by. It's a simplified career mode, apparently. But I don't know what that is. So, if you're going to do anything, copy Here Comes the Pain's career mode, where you make the rosters of each show from scratch. Do every single show of our whole year, from Raw or SmackDown in the first week of April, all the way to WrestleMania in March. And you just play through, going through different feuds, fighting off each match, winning money, and spending it on unlockables. Because I would much prefer doing that than going through the predetermined, scripted bullshit that is the Road to WrestleMania mode. And honestly, I will say this. That Here Comes the Pain career mode is the only thing that keeps me going back to it. Okay, sure, the great gameplay, the fantastic roster, the stellar graphics for that time, and the general epicness of its control system are all other reasons why. But that career mode is the pièce de résistance of what a career mode should be in a wrestling game. You are not going to deny it. And when I get to review Here Comes the Pain, I will do it fully. I will go through it, explain its faults, its praises, and lo and behold, it's because it's the best. It is the best career mode ever. And you all could tell me I'm wrong, but then again, you're probably agreeing with me. In all hindsight, you're probably saying, yeah, it was entertaining. It changed different opponents for different scenarios. You could fight with the GM, you could fight with McMahon, which, to be honest, everybody wanted to do. There's a big storyline around the Elimination Chamber and factions, and you got to basically beat the shit out of McMahon and basically get his job at one point. That's a storyline I'd kill for and I'd want. And you basically get the WWE guys to make up loads of storylines, not just one storyline for one guy. You're making up 20, 30, 40, 50 different storylines depending on which kind of person you've chosen and where you want to go. You make the choices where your guy ends up. It's perfect. Just bring it back, and I think, okay, don't bring it completely back from scratch, but basically bring it back to the point where it's something similar. Then we can basically say, yes, a single player mode I would love to play. Or basically, even better, combine the universe mode as your career mode. Just don't have a road to WrestleMania. Just have universe mode. You, at the start of the game, get a tutorial to piece everything together from scratch. Rosters, champions, teams, brands, pay-per-views, everything. It's the one thing I'd love to see happen, bar my number one, because it would make it a lot more funner and give us more control. And here we are, everybody. On to my number one. Now, this shouldn't really be a surprise to many. It shouldn't be a surprise to a lot of you. Because, as you know, this issue would be very important to me. And, okay, you're all probably saying to me, put Chris Benoit in the game. But no, that isn't my number one. It would never be my number one. It will never happen, which is the reason why I'm never going to put it in there. And also, entrances for Elimination Chamber. You're probably saying, where the hell am I not saying that? Well, WWE guys at 13, THQ, have already confirmed it isn't going to happen. So, I can't do it. But this number one, I hope they do. Because it is paramount to me. More so than any gameplay aspect. And if anything is that important, you've got to think to yourself, what could be so important that I would big it up over every single gameplay aspect? My number one, licensed music for the menus. Now you're all saying to me, what? Oh, come on! Is he really going to be talking about that the music is the best part of the game? To me, it was one of the shining lights. Because one of the great things about some of the older WWE games, especially the SmackDown vs. Raw ones, I got some decent music out of it. And I'm a big music guy. And I always, just like FIFA, actually like FIFA, like Saints Row or GTA radio stations, I always look at the soundtrack. Because I want to know anything I can jam to. Anything I would say, listen and go, I like that, I want to buy it. Over the years, there have been so many songs, so many bands I have found thanks to WWE games. I mean, basically, this is not entrance musics. These are menu themes. I discovered Megadeth for the first time thanks to SmackDown vs. Raw 06. I found Dark New Day through that. I found Dillinger Escape Plan through that. I also, believe it or not, found Chevelle. I found 3 Days Grace through that. I have found a lot more bands. I found Blackstone Cherry through a combination of that and the Great American Bash. Rise Against I already knew about, but it gave me a song I'd never heard from them before. This is SmackDown vs. Raw 2007. Hands down the best soundtrack, in my opinion. I found in one of these games I mean, obviously I knew about Trivium already, but fuck it, it's still good to have Down Within the Sky on there. Also, POD's Addicted. Bloody hell, one of the best songs you could ever put on a soundtrack. And also, best one ever, Waiting's Not Forgotten. It's a great song. The fact is, these Mortal Kombat style songs that appear every single time I play WWE 12, they piss me off to no end. Because it's boring. There's no soul. You can't feel like you're playing a wrestling game because the songs are just anti everything you want. You play a wrestling game, heavy metal rock songs are playing, or some nice rap hip hop's playing. I don't mind them now, they're pretty good songs. Some of them were. The Bumpy Knuckles stuff wasn't too good on SmackDown vs. Raw 2006, but you get my drift. This is the kind of thing that's important to me. Music is me. It's part of my life, which I would say is bigger than wrestling. This is a vital part of the experience to me. Pumps me up. Gets me excited to go into a game and play. It's what a video game is about. Immersing yourself in the experience. And without that, it's not worth it. Because Mortal Kombat style themes just, like I said, they lacked soul, they lacked passion, they lacked any form of texture to put you in a mood for anything. And I got so angry when there was no licensed music. Because WWE does not want to waste money on licensing. I understand that. It's something they hate doing every year. But it makes a hell of a lot of a difference to the dynamic of a wrestling game, to the reception that you get. Because you don't want to sit in the menus getting pissed off by the music that's playing in the background. You want to listen and go, yeah, I can listen to this all day. Because that's how it used to be for me. When I had no music collection of my own at that point, these musics on the game were bloody important for establishing what I liked musically. And if that isn't a good reason enough to put licensed music in the menus again, then I do not know what is. Because it's something that's vital. And it may not be to some other people, but to me, music in the menus is, like I said, as important as any of the gameplay elements in a game that can be. So WWE 13, THQ, if you're watching out there, please put licensed music in the menus. For the benefit of not just me, but loads of other people as well. And that is how I'm going to end this. Thank you so much, everybody. You know what to do. Subscribe up there, comment, click on my Facebook page in the description, and ask me some Q&A questions. I've only got a week or two to go with that. Please get them in as soon as you can. I appreciate all the support. And guys, another rant done. I've been Cream Crazy. You've been people watching. This is my 10 things that WWE 13 needs rant. And I will see you next week. Because I will be doing my predictions for Extreme Rules 2012 on the 28th of April. Then I'll be doing my Q&A. Then I'll be doing the results on the Monday. That's a big lot. I might even fit a Judgment Day 2000 Friday flashback in there as well. Because I'm nice. Better late than never. Guys, I'll see you next week. Hope you enjoyed. Cheers.